Well, hello everyone. This is FabryLON, and yes, I am still alive. It's been a while since I made a video for the simple reason that in the last 4 to 5 months I've been stupidly busy with life. It happens. There's nothing to be ashamed of. I had a lot of things that I need to do, so for this reason YouTube first, but also gaming had suffered a lot. Considering that I've managed to play something like 2 games in the last 4 months. Yes, as I said, been busy. But I just returned from Italy the other day. I've noticed that it's the 5th of January, and obviously I need to do my personal list of my favorite games of 2018. Another year gone by, so it's time to wrap up the gaming I've done just the past year. And to be honest, I'm a bit disappointed, but it's also understandable because I've only played and beat 11 games, which is really bad. But as I said, I've been very busy, so there's nothing to be ashamed of. But it's just like, it's obviously I wish I can play more games, but naturally, as you know, I'm primarily a JRPG player, so I played a lot of RPGs this year, and obviously these things take time. So all things considered, I'm not that ashamed that I beat 11 games, since most of them are RPGs actually. So obviously you will not find the AAA games in here because I only play my handheld console for the most part. There is one exception. There is the wild card somewhere in my list, and I cannot wait to talk about that. But we got 10 handheld games and one main console game, let's call it like that. But obviously, you will not find God of War, you will not find Spider-Man, since I had zero interest in that. Unfortunately, no Dragon Quest XI. I haven't got the chance even to buy it, let alone playing. So we'll see what happens. I really hope it will be released in some form on a handheld console, because if I have to buy it on a PS4, I will never be able to play it, basically. But we'll see. So, one additional element I needed to say is that even though I didn't play many games, I'm very happy with the games I've played. That's always a good thing. When I can say that of the 11 games I played, I enjoyed all of them. Some more than others, of course. That's the point of this kind of lists. But, as I said, very happy with the games I've played. Some of them amazing, some unforgettable moments. Others were more palate cleanser, to be honest, but that's what happens. And when you play all these RPGs, you need something in the middle to avoid getting crazy. So let's just start it, since there's not much to say. I mean, I've made videos for most of them, but not all of them, to be honest, since, as I said, for one, I wasn't entirely sure what to say, because there's so much that I need to say. But in others, I mean, and lately I've been busy, as I said. I'm sorry to keep saying it, but it's just, it pains me so much that I couldn't play more. But let's start with my top 11 games of 2018, and we'll start from the bottom, of course, at number 11, Ninja Gaiden Dragon Sword. I mean, it didn't stand a chance in the grand scheme of things. This is a fun game on the DS. I really enjoyed it, but I played this game for one reason only. It was a palate cleanser. I was playing RPG after RPG. I said, I need to play something else before I blow my brains off. So this was the perfect distraction. Very short, very fast and furious, very easy considering it's a Ninja Gaiden game. But I really like this series. I mean, there's not much to say. It's very interesting, actually, the way you control the game, as you hold the DS like a book or a comic book, basically, and it's all using the DS stylus and all of that. So it was interesting in the gameplay department, but story-wise, was nothing special, to be honest. But it's a Ninja Gaiden game. I wasn't expecting a mind-blowing story, and I really hope sooner than later to be able to play more of this, because I really like the Ninja Gaiden series. I would love to play the one on the Vita, even though the last time I've checked, it's a bit expensive for what it is, but we'll see. I always I love my ninja games like Ninja Gaiden, Shinobi. I have a Shinobi game on the 3DS. I want to play that, but we'll see. But definitely, as I said, it didn't stand a chance against the rest of the games I play. But it was a fun distraction, and I'm saying that as a compliment, of course, because this is a fun game. If you like the Ninja Gaiden game, give it a shot. It's you're going to pass like a good 5 to 6 hours or something like that. So number 11. Number 10, we got a very interesting one. Again, it couldn't be higher than this. Even though I absolutely love the concept of this, I wish they go back to this format and make more games like this, because this is a potential gold mine, in my opinion. That it's Mega Man ZX Advent, still on the DS. I've also played the original Mega Man ZX and absolutely loved it. I mean, the first one, it's in terms of, I haven't played it in so many years, but I remember I enjoyed the story, and this is also a pretty good story. The major disappointment for me, considering that it's a Mega Man game, was the music, which, as we all know, Mega Man traditionally has really good and rich soundtracks. And well, this wasn't the case. It's a pretty bland soundtrack with one exception. But where this game really shines, it's the gameplay, because this is a Metroidvania Mega Man. And it's the potential, it's enormous. If only Capcom would stop just rehashing the same thing with Mega Man 11, 12, 13, 15, whatever, and do this right on, say, the PS4, the Switch especially. Even the 3DS, even though everyone keeps saying that the 3DS it's dying, well, they're still making game for it technically, though now it doesn't make much sense with the Switch and the PS4 or whatever. Well, that's PS5 coming, but who cares about that? A proper big Mega Man ZX would be amazing. And as I say, I really enjoyed it. There are all the characteristics of the Mega Man, so the taking powers from the enemy bosses and something. It kind of has the story out of the X series, which is good. I mean, it's, again, nothing mind-blowing. It's a Mega Man game, but it's pretty good. I enjoyed it. But especially, as I said, the gameplay is amazing. I love the idea of a Metroidvania Mega Man because I really like my Metroidvania games. And as I said, there's so much untapped potential in this. These are just 2 games on the DS. So nowadays, who cares about these other than nostalgia tards like me? But if you have the chance, definitely give it a shot because it's a lot of fun. By the end, it gets a bit annoying, especially the last stage and the final boss. They're kind of cheap, but for the rest, it's a great game, a great idea, and I really hope that Capcom eventually will go back to this because it's worth it to have a huge Metroidvania Mega Man on the Switch. I keep highlighting that because it needs to be portable, obviously. That's always a major plus to me. But even if it's just on the PS4, I mean, that's fine. And Mega Man, they're probably just going to ship that everywhere. But give us more of this, Capcom. Mega Man ZX Advent, number 10. Number 9, it's a bit surprising just this low on the list, but again, I really enjoyed it. But compared to the rest I've played, nothing I can do. And that is Tales of Hearts R. Kind of a mouthful to me to say it. But this is the second, yes, just the second Tales of game I've beat. Last year, I played and beat Tales of the Abyss. This year, I need to play at least one Tales game per year, basically, because I got plenty of them at home. Like, I got 2 on the PS4, I got someone else on the PS3, I got 1 on the PSP, so I'm probably going to play that this year. I got Tales of Eternia. But Tales of Hearts are a really, really lovely RPGs on the PSP. Really, really old school, because I think originally this was released on the DS in Japan. This is just a sort of enhanced remake for the Vita. And I mean, it looks gorgeous. It's a Tales game, so the gameplay is a little fun. I actually had more fun with this rather than Abyss because I was just better at playing this. I was able to do like those huge combos by the end of the game, while in Abyss, not so much. But story-wise, Abyss was much better, in my opinion. Music-wise, they're both good. Maybe, but in the grand scheme of things, I think Abyss is much better than Tales of Hearts. But I really, really enjoyed it. I was very happy to have played this. There are some great characters. Especially, I think my favorite character could have been Inkarose, which was one of the bad guys, actually. The main protagonist was kind of forgettable. Oh, what's her name? Beryl, the paintress. She was a lot of fun. I really like her character. Ines was also a great character. Chalcedony was a great character. So there are great characters, of course. It's a Tales game. The music, the game, a lot of fun, a lot of fun. But again, by the end of the year, I couldn't really keep up the pace with other better games I've played. But really, really enjoyed it. So at number 9, Tales of Hearts R. Really, really like the Tales series. Cannot wait to play more games of that. Number 8, this might be, I don't want to say the disappointment, of course, because I really enjoyed it, but in the grand scheme of things, considering this is a Falcom game, you would expect higher in my list, but again, couldn't keep up the pace, even though it's one of the latest game I've played, and that is Tokyo Xanadu on the Vita, as you can see, not the EX Plus version, the regular one. It's the only one I was able to find on the Vita. A really, really cool and nice action RPG. Why did I say this is a disappointment? Because I have a lot of fun with it, actually. It's just like, if it's a Falcon game, automatically my expectations are so high because I'm such a fanatic of the Trails and the Legend of Heroes series. And the idea of Falcon wanting to create an alternative to both Ys and Legend of Heroes was very, very intriguing. And for the most part, I think they kind of done it, even though not completely. That's my main problem with this game. I think there is a lot of wasted potential here, even though the end result was very good. As I said, I had a lot of fun. Personally, I preferred this over Ys 8 by quite a long shot, to be honest, because Ys 8 was quite a disappointment to me. Tokyo Xanadu, it's very interesting, though one thing, it's filled with anime cliche, probably a bit too much from... I mean, even though I'm a fan of anime, I would just say, can we deviate for the cliches, please? I mean, there is a bit too much of that. But there were great moments. The game looked great on the PS Vita. The combat was a lot of fun. It's just like, if you put Persona and Ys in a blender, you got Tokyo Xanadu. There was one really wasted character, which was a big missed opportunity for creating an interesting one. But the way it resolves that, well, this character is kind of useless. And I think story-wise, they could have... Personally, I think I mentioned it in my video, my discussion about this. They should have ended the game much earlier on a cliffhanger in order to hype a potential sequel, which I read somewhere that they are seriously considering doing a Tokyo Xanadu 2, and I really hope so, because, as I said, the idea is to create an alternative to their two main series. So if they're stopped already, what's the point? But I think it did well enough. People liked it. I liked it. So I really want more adventures in the Xanadu world. So we'll see what happens. But a good action RPG on my Vita. I should have played this probably last... Whoa, dropped it completely. I was saying I should have played it last year or something when it was released, but I'm still very happy, and it was a great first chapter in what I hope will become a new saga from Falcom. Very, very nice. One thing though I have to say, like, the music wasn't as impressive as I was hoping. It was good, but I know that JDK can do much, much better. Number 7. This was a sort of surprise. Although I knew about it. It's one of those must-own RPGs on the PSP. So yes, we're jumping to the PSP. And but it was always kind of pricey because it has the Atlas name on it, so that increases the price automatically. It's a JRPG on the PSP. But I have to say, I was able to buy it. I didn't spend too much money, even though it was still kind of pricey for what it is. But at the end of the day, really enjoyed it. Really, really enjoyed it. I played only half of it because there are 2 stories into one game. But what a great game. At number 7, Hexis Force. I finished this the 31st of December. So obviously I wasn't able to make a video because I was on a plane while I was playing and trying to finish it. but it is a great game. And as I said, I played only half of it. It took me basically 2 months to beat this, and each of the two stories are 25 hours each. So it's not a long game in the grand scheme of things. It took me 2 months. That's how busy I was. But I really enjoyed it. This might be one of the best RPGs on the PSP. Obviously, you have to consider on the PSP we also have like the Trails in the Sky games and stuff like that. But this is a definite must. If you like it, it's one of those, I don't want to say hidden gems because we all know about this, but games like this, Crimson Gem Saga, Brave Story, I still need to play that though. I'm really, really interested. And of course, I say like this Atlus game, even though it's not made by Atlus, it's made by Sting and published by Atlus, but it has a really fun combat system and very interesting item creation mechanics, a good story. Even though, as I said, I play only one of the two stories. I play Cecilia's story, and I started Levante's story, which started really dark. So it's probably that's where the game will really shine in terms story-wise. I cannot wait to go back and properly finish Hexis Force because this is a great RPG on the PSP. If you manage to find it any way you can, I don't know if it's on Steam. I don't think so, but I haven't checked. If you find it on PSN or whatever, give it a shot because it's a really, really great game on the classic RPG on the PSP. You cannot go wrong with this. So at number 7, Hexis Force. The only thing is the title, but excellent RPG. Number six. And this is from a series that last year was basically one of my MVPs, kinda. Although this year kind of took a nosedive jump for some very personal reasons, I have to say, because the overall experience was fantastic, just like I was expecting from it. It's an interesting and very controversial way to end a series, because to me, you cannot go back from the ending of this game, which is the controversial part to me. You might have an idea what I'm talking about. So at number 6, we got Danganronpa V3, Killing Harmony. Or, a little spoiler, should I say Danganronpa 53. However, this game is very, very interesting. I absolutely love the Danganronpa series. Basically, last year they stole the show to me. I mean, I love Ultimate Despair Girls, whatever, like the side game. I absolutely love the first two. They were basically some of my favorite games of the year. And this year, Danganronpa 3, which has some of the best moments in the entire series, it's only at number 6. There's nothing wrong with the game. It's excellent. There are all the good marks of the Danganronpa series. There are some of the best characters, by far some of the best moments. But the problem, I'm still very conflicted about the ending of the game. Like, if you played it, just let me know what you think. I liked it, but I think it went a bit too far to me. And as I said, they cannot go back from this. Basically, this has to be the end of the Danganronpa main series. If they want to do any other side games, I would love to have like a Ultimate Despair Girls or something too. I would love that. But I cannot see a Danganronpa 4 after this. Also because I heard that Team Danganronpa basically stopped making Danganronpa games because they wanted to do something else. And they work on that, what's it called, like Zero Zenkai or something like that, that will be released here in the West on the PS4 sometime, even though I really wanted the PS Vita version, which is available in Japan, but not in the West, of course. The Vita? What's the Vita? Vita's dead. But Danganronpa 3, as I said, fantastic game. I heard mixed opinion from fans. Some people say it's the best, others say they didn't like it. I'm kind of in the middle. I really, really enjoyed it up until the final chapter, and let's say the final trail. I was thinking this might be my favorite Danganronpa game. It has some of my favorite characters, if not my favorite, I'd say, because I absolutely love Maki. She's a fantastic character, but also like Kaito, and so many other. And amazing moments, very, very touching and sad and moving moments. It it ticked all the boxes, but that ending really, I'm really divided about that. As I said, if you played it, let me know what you think. If not, you need to play it because it deserves to be played. It's a fantastic, fantastic visual novel. Danganronpa V3 at number 6. Fantastic game. Number 5. And this is an interesting one. Because I absolutely loved it, but I've decided to reward other games in front of this, even though I really enjoyed this. I'm very happy that I finally played this. Don't forget, this is one of the first games I played in 2018. But at number 5, we got Persona 4 Golden. And especially I remember talking with Leo, the funny nerd. He was making fun of me so much because I bought this game ages ago and I never played it because I was thinking, well, I'll play it someday. And just postponed it forever, basically. And then last year I said, that's enough, let's play Persona 4. Amazing, amazing game. I can understand why so many people think it's the best RPGs ever made. To me, it's not. But it's a fantastic one. I enjoyed it every minute I played, and especially, that's the interesting part to me. For me, Persona 4 Golden, it's a fantastic visual novel with a JRPG attached to it. I know this is just my opinion, of course. I know it's not, but because the best part of the game to me, it's the story and especially the interaction with its fantastic cast of characters. While the battles, like the RPG section, like the dungeons, the battle was okay at best to me. It was nothing special. I enjoyed it, but it absolutely didn't blow me away. But, as I say, in terms of story, characters, the music, all of that, this is a top-notch RPG. No questions about it. I absolutely love my main Kanji. It was hilarious. But also other characters like Chie, Naoto, Rise, all of them. A classic must-play RPGs. I'm so happy that I've experienced it. I've played almost 70 hours of it and loved every second of it. I cannot wait. I really, really hope that they will release Persona 5 Golden on the Switch or whatever so I can play it, because I really don't want to play Persona 5 on the PS4. It's too big. I don't have the time. But number 5, a fantastic, fantastic game, Persona 4 Golden. Because I was thinking about putting it at number 4, but thinking about it, this game beat it out. And interesting because this is a pure classic JRPG, very like turn-based, job-based, all of that. But I loved it so much. I was very curious because it is a sort of a hidden gem, even though I don't think basically any game qualifies as a hidden gem anymore because of YouTube or whatever. We all know about every games, basically. We just need to look for them. But I don't see anyone talking about this, and it's easily one of the best games I've played on the 3DS. And at number 4, we got Seventh Dragon 3, Code VFD. What a game! Absolutely loved it, especially in terms of story, setting, and music. Because the battle system, it's very basic. It's a turn-based RPG. It's job-based, as I said. And while in combat, you're just like looking at the enemies from a first-person perspective. You cannot go more classic than this, but it works because that's my RPGs, basically. That's how I love them. But I love the idea this is a great time travel RPGs. Yes, that's time travel. Although it's not like Chrono Trigger or Radiant Historia or nothing like that. But I absolutely love the setting. It's very interesting, and I really, really want to play the rest of the Seven Dragon series, though obviously that's entirely in Japan, so we'll see. Especially I want to play the 2020, the two 2020 games, the PSP ones, basically. The music, it's almost a player on an element of its own in this game because it's so amazing. But that's not surprising since it's made by Yuzo Koshiro. So I really want to buy the soundtrack because some of the themes were unbelievably good. The story was very interesting because at first I wasn't that impressed. I was like, oh, this is a nice story. It's kind of this whole idea of humanity fighting dragons, which is very cool on per se, but I want something more. And then the story really kicks in by the end. There are some very, very heavy hitters of moments, especially with two characters, well, more like 3-4 characters. Amazing stuff, really, really cool, out of nowhere, considering this is not a long game. I was expecting, again, a 70 to 80 hours game. I think it took me like 30 to 35 hours, maybe 40, I'm not sure, but it's not very long. Certainly not as much as I was expecting, but man, this was good. Also, absolutely love the character design. I don't remember the name of the artist, but absolutely love the style of this. I think we will never see another Seven Dragon game again, also because this is kind of the end of the story, if I understand. But amazing RPG on the 3DS. If you like RPGs, this is an absolute must. It's a really well-made classic RPGs with interesting ideas, amazing music, and really cool moments. Some of the boss battle themes were just phenomenal. Kind of reminds me of Persona in a way because there is a lot of singing as well. Since Persona, it's all J-pop and all of that, which is cool. I love the soundtrack in Persona 4. It's fantastic. There are 3 soundtracks this year that they completely blew me away. And I would say Persona 7 Dragon and another game we'll talk in a while. The music were amazing soundtracks. So at number 4, 7 Dragon 3 Code VFD on the 3DS, an absolute must and a fantastic JRPG on the 3DS. We'll stick with the 3DS for number 3. This is the first game I played in 2018, and as I said, like, that's one way to start a year. How can you go wrong with Metroid Samus Returns? And this, to me, it's Metroid perfection, basically. I know 99.99% of people say Super Metroid is the best, and I agree, it's a fantastic game. But I can say now that this, for now, it's my favorite Metroid game. Since I've played Super Metroid, but I haven't finished it because my Super Nintendo cartridge has issues with the battery. Plus, I don't have the nostalgia because I played it years later. It's time, but I loved it, of course. But to experience Metroid 2 in this fashion, this is a phenomenal remake. We're talking like Othin Falgana level of quality kind of remake. Amazing from beginning to start. I love the story in Super Metroid, in Metroid 2. I love the Metroid series. It's kind of my co-favorite series by Nintendo together with Zelda. Absolutely love it. The music, the graphics, I love the combat with the additions that Mercury's team did, and loved everything about Metroid Samus Returns. Cannot wait to play more Metroid games in the future, but for now, at number 3, we got this phenomenal game, Metroid Samus Returns. You cannot go wrong with the Metroid series, and it didn't disappoint. It's the first game I played during the year, and it's almost one of the best I played. Number 2, and it's unbelievable that this is just at number 2, but for a good reason. Number 2, obviously, we got the titan of the 3DS, Xenoblade Chronicles 3D. Of course, obviously. How can anything top this one? Well, there is one, but it's a very personal and subjective decision. This is why this is just at number 2. Obviously, I've played this kind of out of its time again. I should have played this years ago on the Wii when it was fresh and everyone was blown away by this gigantic JRPG. I cannot stress how important Xenoblade Chronicles is for the RPGs scene when it was released on the Wii. But because I was living here or in the UK already and my Wii is in Italy, and the game of course became stupidly expensive, I just refused to pay that amount of money for a game that I was not going to play. But then, again, thank you, Leo. My good friend Leo, the funny nerd, suggests me to get the 3DS version. And I was like, oh yes, I never thought about that possibility. I bought it basically the next day, played it immediately, and, well, you know, I loved it. The main strength of Xenoblade Chronicles to me, personally, of course, all of this is personal, subjective opinions, but what I like the most about this, it's the setting. The setting of this game, it's one of the most original ones I ever experienced, period. It's the whole idea of the Bionis and the Mechonis is just pure genius. Because if you think about it, most of Western RPGs, this is not about Western versus JRPGs. I mean, I love both of them, although, you know, I'm a JRPG guy, but Western RPGs, for the most part, again, this is not an attack on your genre, blah, 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 the usual bullshit we need to say. Western RPGs are, for the most part, not very original in terms of setting. They're just your Tolkien kind of thing. You got your fantasy world and all of that, fine and dandy, loved it, but not that original. After you played tons of them, you read them in your fantasy books, you saw fantasy movies, Lord of the Rings, blah blah blah. It's all the same, basically. Sometimes we have some original Western RPGs, of course. The reason why I prefer JRPGs, one of the many reasons, but one of the reasons why I prefer JRPGs is because at least they make an effort trying to create original worlds. For the most part, I mean, you cannot deviate too much from fantasy or whatever, sci-fi, fantasy, and all of that. But at least they try to create something more original, not just copying the Tolkien. Sometimes, however, you got really original ideas, and this is definitely one of them. The thing of the two titans, sleeping titans, over which life forms have been created. There are humans, homs, on the like bionic, obviously, living organism formed on the Bionis, and mechanized ones, forms of Mechonis, and all of it. It's such a genius idea. I cannot stress how much I was impressed with this idea. And there is the rest of the game, of course. It's huge, first and foremost. I mean, people keep mentioning how Skyrim is the greatest game of all time because it's big and you can do a lot of fetch quests, basically. Well, so does this. This is a gigantic game that was released on the Wii, and you got a gigantic game on the 3DS, which is impressive on both accounts. There is an amazing story, fantastic characters, a phenomenal soundtrack. The only thing I wasn't in love, I liked it, but I wasn't blown away by it, was the combat system. But simply because I'm a turn-based kind of guy, and this is an action RPG. But after the first couple of hours, I was already in love with it. I really liked it. I love the idea of the Monado. That's, I mean, again, a brilliant idea. This is what games should do, like being original. Yes, in the end of the day, it's just like an epic sci-fi RPG, but, or I should say science fantasy. But there are so many original ideas. The Monado itself is one of the most creative weapons I ever saw in an RPG. The Bionis and the Mechonis, one of the best settings I ever saw. Great characters, again, like, I love Shulk. You got a good protagonist, not a blank, like, an uninspiring hero. For example, like in Tales of Hearts, Shin is probably my least favorite character because he's your usual goody-two-moody kind of character. It's not the Shulk, it's mind-blowing, but it's a good protagonist. So, number 2, really close at number 1, or maybe 1.5, because this is such an amazing game, and I have so much things I still need to do in this. So much. I should play double, but I would have played the game for the rest of the year, basically. I had so many things that I needed to play. But there is one that actually beat Xenoblade Chronicles. What could it be? And it's kind of unbelievable to think about it, but not really at the same time, because a lot of people talked about this game. Basically, this game thrived because of YouTube, basically. It's one of a true hidden gem back then, of course. Now everyone knows about it. There is a huge sequel to this game. So it's not a hidden gem anymore. But at the time, it wasn't really well received by critics and stuff. But I always had this in the back of my mind. I need to play this game on the PS3 eventually. So yes, we got a PS3 game at number 1. And I remember when I bought my PS3, it's one of the first games I bought with it, and I kept it there in a corner, say, sooner or later I'm going to play you, because I need to see if the hype is justified. This year, this summer, I went to Italy for work, stayed there for a month, and in between this thing I need to do, I had some free time in Italy at my house, and I focused entirely on this game, and oh my fucking god, it completely blew me away. So at number 1, my favorite game of 2018, and there's go the siren, that kind of like interrupts the drama. So, oh damn it. So my favorite game of 2018 is Nier on the PS3. Yes! Because the thing is, after I beat Nier, I was so much in love with it. And the next day, basically, I bought Nier Automata and started playing it until I was there before coming back to London. So I play about like 10 to 12 hours of Nier Automata and absolutely love that. But Nier completely took me off guard because I didn't expect it to like it as much as I did. Because what I loved about Nier was the overall experience. The game was an experience. It was almost more than a game. It's weird. First and foremost, you got one of the best soundtracks I ever heard, because I kept hearing people praising the Nier soundtrack. And I say, well, I guess it's pretty good. That's when I started playing it, but I wasn't prepared for something that good. I like the gameplay. It's a hack and slash RPG. It's nothing too mind-blowing, but it's fun. The setting, the backstory, and the emotions and everything. Oh my god, Nier, it's just as I said, it's an experience. It's more than just a regular game. It's one of those rare cases. We all have these games here and there that, as I said, they're more than mere games in a way. Because, for example, people mention a lot of like Xenogears, that it's almost a philosophy basically. And unfortunately I never played it because that game wasn't released in Europe, of course. But we'll see. For example, for me, Legend of Dragoon was an experience, even though it's not a philosophical game or whatever, but I enjoyed it so much that I was completely blew away by it. Nier, it's kind of an experience like that. I absolutely loved everything about it. There are so many good things. Like, I love the characters. There are some amazing moments. Of course, the music. I cannot stress it enough how good that music is. Easily one of the best soundtracks I ever heard in my life from a game. Still remember one of my favorite moments in terms of like the impact of the soundtrack was when you go to Emil's mansion, basically, and you discover there is that entire underground laboratory, and you start to discover something about Project Gestalt and all of that. With that music, I was there, oh my god, this is amazing. So, also, as I said, the overall story is also very interesting. The themes of the game, the setting, I absolutely love that world. Absolutely. I really want to experience the entire Drakengard and Nier series because I love Nier so much. I didn't make a video about it because I couldn't, and by the time I was back in London, I was playing something else. I don't know if I will make it justice, but my favorite game of 2018, without a doubt, in a way, because I love Xenoblade, I love all of these games, but Nier just completely blew me away. Even though it's not too long, it's not too refined in a way, like the controls, the camera, the gameplay, it's not perfect. I don't care about that. As I said, games, it's about experiencing something, like a great story, interesting characters, cool moments, great music, all together. And Nier definitely delivered and completely caught me at the right moment, completely caught me off guard. And for this reason, it has to be my number 1. So, there you have it, my list of the games of 2018. Definitely let me know what you think about it. If you have any comments, please be free to share your feelings. And I hope to be back soon with since I need to do another list. And hopefully, I really hope to be able to play more games and do more videos, but we'll see. My schedule, it's not very promising, but we'll see what I can do for the moment. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you soon, guys, and take care.